Hello, everybody. Today,
Hello.
we, together with Vlad Khorsun, core developer of Firebird, will answer for the questions and problems which were sent to Firebird Foundation during the campaign 3 Major Challenges with Firebird. So let's see what we have. Actually, the number of questions is so big, so we decided to change it into several parts, and today will be only part 1. So let's go and answer questions which you have sent to us. First of all, let's close the most frequently repeated requests. Support of JSON data type support, and schemas. These two features will be in Firebird 6, and so it's, it will be implemented in Firebird 6. Vlad, do you want to add something?
It's currently actively developed, and if someone follow discussions in the Firebird devel, he could know that schemas currently very actively developed by Adriano. JSON also under development, so I have a pretty big chance that it will be appeared in Firebird 6.
Yeah, that's good news. So, but we have a lot more questions about many things. So let's go through them and try to answer. So I tried to group questions, especially similar questions, but also I did not sort them in order to respond to be in some specific group. So it will be just as emails with questions came from you, from users of Firebird, and we will be considering them and answering, or sometimes just commenting. One of the first emails which came was a request to have more examples for mobile developers. And this is truly interesting and important area. As you know, Firebird runs on Android and runs on iOS. There is an iOS build being developed. But there are not so many, or let's say very few examples. One of them is listed here in this presentation. By the way, the presentation will be available, so you will be able to click and download all links, which will be, here in this presentation. But of course, more examples will be created. And with regards with the mobile versions, actually, I need to do some kind of call for action. Probably we will publish something on Firebird SQL very soon with request to test iOS build of Firebird 5. Because it's, interesting and important area for Firebird. Vlad, anything to comment on it?
Not much, sorry.
Okay, next one. Replication for database on mobile devices. In my opinion, this is kind of, task for external implementation. It's not much, not very good idea to put everything like replication for mobile devices into the engine, right?
I can add something important here, because I think that all the parts are already contained inside the engine, so I don't understand just what is required especially for mobile device. Maybe I don't know, but from the engine point of view, I don't think we can offer much something else.
Well, I think what the idea is how to organize the transport of replication segments and so on. But this is the task for external scripts or external software.
Really external tasks, yes.
Yes.
Agreed.
Okay, so it was easy. Let's go for more interesting one. So kind of request, like go on, Firebird. Maintain the small footprint. In my experience, when the database, becomes big, like 100 gigs, 2 gigs, or even 1 terabyte, or even more, the users start to complain that Firebird uses too little memory, or if they are not aware how to set up proper Firebird configuration, even do not use, a lot of resources. But for the small virtual machines and small computers, I think the default configuration is, it is what delivers the smooth and ensures the small footprint. Well, also, I think this question is pretty easy, right? So Firebird will remain with small footprint, which is controlled by the configuration file, right? Okay, let's go to the next. A UDR, or also in the original question was UDF, with storing source code or maybe compiled code inside the databases. Inside database, like stored procedure, already, like the standard stored procedures. What do you think about it, Vlad?
This questions is arised from time to time, but so far I don't remember that anybody was really seriously considered it to implement, because it arises, but there is no big push on the team with this question. I don't think it's really very important and very required. I have a little experience with Microsoft SQL Server, and the team where I work with this database actively uses .NET stored procedures, stored functions, but it was not very convenient to keep it inside database. So it was not a first question for us. So my experience tells me that it's good to have, but it's not too much important as for me.
Yeah, okay. I think that in this case, when some company really wants to implement something, we need to proceed with the specific route, how to make this feature, done in Firebird. First of all, we need to create an issue on GitHub and say, guys, we want this, right? And also,
Something like that, yes.
If there will be like, many votes, many comments like, yes, we also need it. We badly want this feature. Of course, such feature, will go up in the pipeline, in the plan for the implementation. At least developers will look at it. Another way to ramp up feature is become a sponsor of Firebird Foundation. And in this case, of course, the request from sponsors and even from the Firebird supporters, like associates and especially partners, will be considered like more important. But right now, as I understood, there is also the workaround to write functions in PSQL, right?
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, so maybe this is not so really badly wanted feature, because it is pretty rare. I also did not read a lot of requests like this. Okay, let's go for the next. Power BI and automate. That's, pretty hot question, but I think it's more like for up to Microsoft to implement the native support for Firebird. What do you think?
Actually, I see a few times the questions about Power BI in the support list, and people always tell that they work with ODBC. So before this question, I have no idea that we have something to do more in this regards. I don't know what is Microsoft Power Automate. Maybe it have something, some special connectivity options, and to give definite answer, I need to investigate this product. I have no idea why they don't work with the DBC, for example.
Well, I have idea, because the Microsoft, tries to lock into their own products. It will always, the Microsoft products, especially if they are free, or so-called free, they are actually like a tripwire, or like hooks to retain users, and probably due to this they are delaying or even canceling the support of a DBC, if I understood correctly the question. But however, the newer DBC version 3 works pretty good, and if you did not try it, I think it's really a good time to try and see what the support of the Power BI was improved with a DBC version 3. And regarding the native support, native comes from the Microsoft, not from Firebird side. And Microsoft does not like a lot to feed competitors with free stuff. Okay, so the next question. Restore with computed fields, create table with record more than 64 kilobytes. Can you comment on it?
I look at this issue on GitHub, and I should say that all was explained here in this issue comments. Dmitry Manov explained why and how this happens, and also he told here that limit could be increased, record size limit. So I think this question is more or less in process.
Yeah, so I just would like to add that technically it is a design mistake, right? So you should not create computed fields which,
Actually, to big records is not very good for performance. It will eat more memory for nothing, and so on. So please consider your table design to be a little more strong.
Strong? You mean the strong like? Yes. Okay. So, but anyway, in Firebird 6, the limit is planned to be increased, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's even it's not a good solution, not a good thing, but
yes, it's not very good, I'd say, for performance. But if you want it, you will get it, and it will be your problem. Finally.
Okay. Okay. Okay, good. Let's go to the next one. So there is also email, which, I put it as various problems. Management of user. Actually, I didn't understand what exactly meant in this, the management of user. But I would like to use this, opportunity to announce that soon, in 2-3 months, we will start publishing series of videos about security, where we will go through the basic security things, including how to live your life without sysdba, how to divide the permissions, and so on. Because it looks like, vast majority of users in Firebird use sysdba, and the big part of them use master key, which is also not good. But anyway, some common request, some common answer. About migration between ODS, there will be, I think, one more question with more details about it, how to make it easier, some advices. But also, we also already recorded videos about the migration. They are available on the Firebird YouTube channel and on firebird.sql.org website. And also there is a practical migration guide link also available on the Firebird.sql, where you can see what, migration is it is a kind of task, but not a problem. It's just a sequence of specific actions which should be done. And about text searches with accent upper lowercase. Vlad, can you comment on it? Something?
I did not go too deep into this kind of issues, but I think that ICU library that we use for Unicode support provide a lot of different possibilities, and built-in ability to create custom collations should be enough to satisfy most of the user requests. If you have something specific, please inform us about it, and we will consider maybe special solution for it.
Can you please remind me, is there any article, how to build own collation? I think there was some document, right?
If I remember correctly, there was some README maybe with custom collation sample. I can't point to it right now, but my memory tells me that it was already explained. Maybe it was not very loudly pointed out, but it should be exist.
Yes, in Firebird, unfortunately, we have a lot of documents which are kind of hidden. They exist, but nobody knows it. So probably we need to search and publish
Just explain it. Yes, but first we need some question to answer for, so to make it not just for fun and for some real problem.
Okay, good. So let's go to the next. The spatial data and AI embeddings. It is really, modern kind of question. So regarding the spatial data, like GIS, it looks like it is preliminary planet for the Firebird 7 or maybe 7 plus. It will be not in Firebird 6 for sure. I mean the GIS indices, right?
Yes.
But they are in pipeline. Let's say this. About AI embeddings, the documents which I have read about how implement AI embeddings, but there are possibilities to implement them through UDRs, and also I think that maybe it's for the future versions of Firebird 7 or and beyond. Because right now Firebird is the classic relational database management system, which is really well built. It has a small footprint. It is working on really modest configurations, and also works on the big configurations, big servers very well, and Alienware kind of technologies which are not was created as a proven and ready to use kind of standard features. It's a bit preliminary for Firebird. We know our niche, and let's follow into the niche and don't try to at least in the core, because as I can understand, the core development is really different from development of some data processor with LLM and so on. Do you want to add something, Vlad?
No, you pretty good explained it. All these things.
Okay. OLAP, schemas, and Guy. So about schemas already told, but it is being developed. So just in Firebird version 6, they will be. OLAP. What can you say about OLAP, Vlad?
Not much. We really plan to add some special kind of group by clause with OLAP and with cube. It's
It's great news.
What?
It's a great news actually.
Yes, it will address some analytical queries, but of course not all of them. We will try to implement most needed features, but currently it's not a short plans. Maybe after Firebird 6.
Yes, but I think with idea to implement full-blown, full-featured OLAP, it is not a good idea, because right now data analytics, when they are perform some analysis, they are building the pipelines to extract data, transform data, put into some column-oriented databases like ClickHouse and so on. Snowflake, these types of software, usually for the huge companies and which spend millions of dollars for Snowflake and so on. And for Firebird, it will be really good achievement to have group by with OLAP cube, and maybe will be in the following questions something about the quick extraction of data with parallel region or something like this, because implementing
It's for real.
yes, implementing full ClickHouse into the Firebird is not how it works. Okay. And question about the guy. It is actually also pretty often question that some people demand the guy for analysis and database optimization suggestions, or guy for management, like create tables, debug queries, and so on. But there are commercial products which are available for optimization, right? And I think that the Firebird can provide more data for analysis, like improved trace, logs, and so on. Improved monitoring table, which are being improved every release. But analysis, it's a task not for the core, not for the engine itself. Do you want to add something, Vlad?
No.
Okay.
Not this time.
Okay. Execute statement on external through ODBC. It would be great if there was a way to execute statement on external. Well, actually, I have a good news with this possibility already exists in the commercial product in HQBird. And also there is a MagPie commercial driver from maybe Phoenix. But in vanilla Firebird, it will appear in the future versions like 6+. Right, Vlad?
If HQBird will contribute its
Sure,
code, so no
sure.
problem.
Sure, as CEO of AB Surgeon, I promise that the HQBird certainly will contribute this execute statement on external into the Firebird, because this is our model.
We will integrate it, maybe improve in some way. So thank you.
You're welcome. Next question. Examples for UDR writing. Well, I think this question is example of, some problems with the delivery of information.
Hidden documentation.
Yes. There is a information on the Firebird SQL site, probably which was found. It was found by the user, but also, it is also possible to ask questions about specific UDR problems into a Firebird support forum on GitHub, also where we have documentation, and the all authors, guys who actually wrote documentation can help. Firebird is really a friendly, welcome community with a few exceptions. And we will always help and, this feedback also is very important because Denis Simonov, who wrote this guide in the link, how to write UDR, he actually improved the examples of UDRs and also improved the documentation with feedback of active users. So don't be shy, just, ask your questions into the Firebird support, into the issues on GitHub, and for sure you will receive answers. Want to add something, Vlad?
No, Denis make a pretty good job in this.
Yeah.
So I will recommend everybody to find his articles and read it.
Yes, the book detailed features of Firebird 5, which was written by Denis. Also, I have edited the book. It's a really good work. And, comprehensive 120 pages cover of Firebird 5 features.
Very good.
Docker for Firebird. Also some kind of, easy questions, because when the question was sent, and in 1 month after that, we started the process to create official Docker images. There was announced, and the Docker images will be transferred under Firebird umbrella, and the Firebird organization on GitHub. About the one-step installation script, also they are maintained. Okay, let's go next. Moving from InterBase to Firebird. I would say there is a pretty big misconception that InterBase is still very close to Firebird. What do you think?
I have no idea. I did not follow for InterBase development, and I have no questions from users about migration from InterBase to Firebird for a long time. So I just don't know.
Yeah, I think that InterBase 6 and InterBase 6.5 were really close to Firebird 1, and it was, easy to pretty easy to migrate to Firebird 1, Firebird 1.5. But after that, the number of changes have grown dramatically, and the InterBase still, plays in it is really small niche. They have published some funny comparisons with Firebird, pure marketing. But of course, in the real world, the Firebird with terabytes, and actually the biggest database I know, the Firebird is 7 terabytes. Is far bigger than InterBase, and also the level of support available. Also, I think it's better both with, especially with comparing with commercial versions, for example, of Firebird. But anyway, I would recommend here to try IB data pump, right, Vlad?
Maybe.
I remember that you have adopted IB data pump and fixed some errors.
I fixed some nasty problem that Carlos asked me to fix. Yes, it was.
Yes, but unfortunately, the IB data pump looks like abandoned project.
Yes.
And this pull request, is still waiting. So maybe, somebody will create the new IB data pump on GPL v3. It is possible, rename or modify something and apply this fix, because right now it is, you need to look for the fix, which
with Carlos we produced compiled binaries with this fix, so it should be available somewhere. I don't remember details, but it should be available.
Yes, I think it's a good idea to modify this presentation after that, and I will put the direct link to this software to download. Okay, good. Let's go further. Foreign key without indices. It's strange things badly wanted by many things. Well, by many users.
So strange. It's
not so strange.
User databases with table with few tens of indices, and some of them on the same fields or maybe on same prefixes. So it's
Yes.
it has sense to
Yes.
make foreign key without indices, or maybe to allow foreign key to use any existing indices. And we have such request, and it's planned for implementation in Firebird 6.
Okay,
It
good.
should be
So
done.
it will be in Firebird 6. So
Yes,
just,
it should be there.
just a few.
I'm responsible for it.
You are responsible. Okay, so
Yeah.
now I'm pretty sure that it will be. Will it be in first beta or not?
Let's see.
Okay. Oh, this is question is not actually a question, kind of claim, right? So the background of this question is the following. So the company, the developer, it has a lot of software distributed over local computers, and these computers are out of control. So it's a classic desktop running application, and what he wants is kind of automatic upgrade. I think by automatic upgrade, maybe he thinks about the compatibility also. As you remember, for Firebird 2.5, it was possible to work with databases from 2.1, 2.0, 1.5, right?
Yes.
So we can, only say that there are possibilities from version 4 to version 5 to do fix upgrade, but he wants the same for all. But I think it's, it will be not possible because it's too much work, right?
It's not only too much work, it's a lot of testing. Imagine if we support one ODS or maybe two ODS back, but to support 3 or 5 ODS back, we should guarantee that new tools will work with old databases and back and forth. It's too much work in supporting this code.
Yes.
We have a lot of if then else branches and so on. It's very easy to make some mistake, make some copy paste mistake and so on. So it was decided to not support too old or too much different ODS.
I think this is, I truly support it because I see that actually we have pretty, bad situation, still have bad situation. Despite all efforts to, to move people to migrate to Firebird 5, there are, according to recent poll, recent research, more than 30% of users, active users of Firebird, active developers, still using 2.5. It is despite the fact that Firebird 5 can be like 4 times faster in some scenarios. It is much more reliable than 2.5 and so on. So definitely, unfortunately, we cannot support too many old products because, and by old, I mean like 2.5 is from 2010, right? 14 years ago. In 2 months will be 15 years ago. It is, it is, it is a lot of time. And Microsoft, already sees it, already stopped support Windows 7, Windows 8, and they, recently announced that they will sell support to Windows 10. So now we are supporting Firebird 3 and Firebird 4, Firebird 5, so 3 versions. By the way, it's a pretty often question about when the Firebird 3 support will be over. And usually I answer that, soon, so you need to migrate, but practically it will be like next year, right?
It's fair. Usually we support 2 versions back. So when Firebird 6 will be released, we will support Firebird 4 and Firebird 5. So I can't promise that we will still support Firebird 3 at that time.
Well, there are so many migration options, data type compatibility, and so on. So that's, just Just migrate. Also, there are commercial tools available for the migration, like migration framework, and the special tip, how to make the backup and restore in one command. Of course, if your metadata is checked and is compatible with old version and new version, it is possible to do this, one command, which will immediately create the backup, put it into the pipeline, std out, and gbug from version 5 will pick it up and put to the new database. I hope it will help. Okay, let's go to the next question. Connection with universities. So this is more like, questions, I think for me. Yes, I think what, educational area in Firebird and in the plans for Firebird is really underdeveloped. And we need to invest more. And the plan is really simple. So we want to create a sample, not a sample, like a first initial course, ready to use course with like a small adaptation for universities, for teachers at the university and for students. So they could complete the Firebird, they complete the database 101 course with Firebird, something like this. But of course, it is not ready yet, and there will be special announcement about it. Okay, let's go to the next one. High precision time support, Vlad. It is on you.
Why? Well, actually, if I correctly had the question, it requires the new special data type for it. So far, I have no idea if we have plans for this in Firebird 6, but if it's really required, if it's really needed, we can consider it for the next version. So just add tickets and push on GitHub, and we will take it into consideration for the next version.
Okay, I think it's really a good answer, and I would like to tell, to use this opportunity to say, but the priority in implementation of features is for sponsors, and if you are a sponsor, you have much more, rights to vote for the feature, to ramp up feature for the new version, or just create a crowd of supporters and give more examples on how to use why it should be in the new versions. Okay, the next question. It is pretty low level, right? So there were 2 emails with more or less the same question, but some functions like sum, count are really slow in Firebird. Can you comment on this, Vlad?
We have some internal conversation about it between developers, and we see a few ways to improve it, but it all requires a lot of time and experiments. It's not easy to implement index-only scan, because of multi-version control, and we don't want to make index case very big because of information about transactions, like in Postgres, for example. And we see a few possibilities inside the engine how to improve the things, but it all requires some time. It's not high priority, but it's always on radar. So maybe something will happen. It's
Yes.
it's not require a new ODS. It not require some special processing with data. So it could be implemented maybe in Firebird 5, for example, but not now. Sorry.
Yeah, and also,
it's a matter of optimization, internal optimization for bulk record loading and bulk record processing. It could be done inside the engine. I don't know how much it will improve performance. We must try first.
right. And also, I would like also to point out that there is a technique like data aggregation, which is, known for decades when the databases were really slow in 80s, 90s, and so on. There were database aggregation schemas, which can, of course, with some changes, with increased complexity, but they can really improve the performance, right?
Yes, it could make much bigger performance improvement than any internal optimization, of course.
And also one more thing, if you really need some analytical queries like summary and count, it makes sense to think about putting like ClickHouse as a pair, as a partner for the Firebird database and create the expert streaming, for example, to send data from the Firebird to this column-oriented database and perform your analytics queries with the speed which will be so high that normal relational database will never give you. No, so because it is completely different engine specifically for analytical queries. And of course, it is necessary to improve sum and count and so on. But also from your side, on the side of developers who work with real data, real solutions, and who need to be implemented it in much faster than the development of the Firebird or any other product is being done. You can look at this data aggregation and also streaming/synchronization to the column-oriented database, for example. Right? Well,
it's one of the ways, of course.
Yes, of course. But the big companies, they don't call to Microsoft and say, hey, no, actually they call and they say, oh, we need these and these. And instead of promising them that, we will create the sum and count or whatever 10 times faster, the Microsoft usually sells them the pipeline to the Azure to create analytical queries with R or with OLAP cubes and so on. This is how it works. So, but I think again, it requires, some review of the problem, right? Okay,
sure.
let's go. Easy question. CSV support will be added. Yes, it will be. Good. So it will be ported from the red database. It will be in V6. It's already in pipeline. Already actually in roadmap, not even in pipeline. And interesting question. Again, up to you. It is up to you, Vlad, about.
Well, actually, I see no need in new blob data type. I have done some internal job in this route, and I think soon I will have something to share with community, and we'll see how much it will satisfy your needs. So something is done, but it's in a preliminary stage, and
Okay.
nobody knows about it so far.
So it is solved, but still nobody knows. Okay,
It's not solved, but it's currently solving.
Yes, I'm just kidding, but it's a great news that the feedback from the users, which I have received as a president of Firebird Foundation, and it is landed into the core developers, and core developers already fixed some things. inside the core, which is actually really difficult. Index only scat. Well, can you please comment on it? Why it is?
Definitely not now, not for Firebird 6. Firebird 6 have a lot of improved already planned, so we need to stop somewhere. So with new features. And after Firebird 6, this is the one of the questions that should be considered again. And we'll see what will happen there.
Yes. Okay, good. Partial foreign keys. It's a kind of joke. Yes. So the foreign keys without indexes can solve the problem, I think, as it is described in this issue on GitHub.
At least we can reconcile this question.
Yes.
When new foreign case implementation will be available.
Email came, it has 3 questions. 2 of them, one and third was for Debug and Parallels, and 2, actually, I think it's for the next. Yes, for the next. So about the parallel, as it is described, it contradicts with the results which we had in our test with parallel. For me, it looks like a problem with configuration or maybe with virtual machine. What do you think, Vlad?
I can't comment this because I have no sources of this user, what he did and what he had. So I think it's maybe some misconfiguration or some mistake on the user side.
Well, I think
it's definitely not possible for Firebird to run in parallel on this machine and don't run on virtual machine. It's not possible. It's fantastic. So it's something in environment or maybe configuration, something there.
So in order to resolve such a problem, usually it is necessary to send like Firebird configuration file, database configuration file, Firebird log, description of the machine, and exact comments and logs with statistics, what was done, comparing with, for example, minus par 8, minus par 1, right?
Yes, something like that. So the problem should be investigated.
Yes. So
I did not investigation of this, so I can't comment.
So
sorry.
So we cannot confirm this is as a problem. It looks like a more case for support, not for development of developers or development of Firebird engine.
Usually this is the case. Yes.
Yes. And the question from the same user, but it's for different one. It's about the protection of database with deleting of sources. Actually, this approach is pretty popular for 2.5 developers. Can you comment on it, Vlad? So Ben.
It's sorry, it's a kind of nasty question. People already called. Sorry, people already able to nullify the sources. There was a special request for it in Firebird 3 and later, and we was implemented. So what else they need?
Can you please remind me, what was it? Is it...
It was allowed to nullify sources of triggers and stored presages in system tables.
Okay.
So it should be possible now. I don't know what else.
What's the interesting thing that I did not know it too. So I or maybe I forgot it. Interesting.
If this question is really important for the user who sent you this message, maybe it makes sense for him to ask in support, or maybe in the well, or maybe create a new issue and people consider it again. Maybe something, some new point of view happens. I don't know.
Because in this presentation, I intended to advise to use encryption plugin to protect source codes and so on. But anyway, if nullify works also, why not? Okay, let's go for the next guy. A good question. But it's also, like a more political question about database, to include database guy into Firebird SQL distribution or something like this. I can say what, this question is being considered. So no promises, no decision yet, but being considered, right?
Yes.
Personally, I prefer iSQL, and but for the complex storage procedures, yes, and some other things. Okay, let's go to the more questions about the installation instructions. So the question arrived about we need to install Linux packages and so on, how to do it. Previously, there was some articles about how to install necessary libraries for Firebird 3, for Firebird 4, for this Linux, for that Linux. So, and I was tired about that and created a collection of scripts available here on the links. So our administrators created this link script, so you can download and with one click install all necessary libraries and Firebird itself in Linux. And it is being updated, and it will be updated for the future. Actually, it's really important because I personally prefer Linux for some reasons over Windows, and so go Linux. Any comments, Vlad?
No.
Scheduler. Whereas the question, the question was, we need some kind of scheduler. Answer, there will be probably a good chance to have this in 6.0 or 6+, right?
I don't know. I didn't want to implement it.
Yeah, but it is in roadmap as far as I remember, and I think it will be in Firebird 6.
Maybe it just go out of my attention. So sorry, I don't know.
Well, anyway, I see the problem with scheduler that many people understand it differently. Somebody says, okay, this is what we want. Others know we want completely or much bigger thing and so on. But anyway, we need to start with something to at least to have this line like scheduler. We have it. Native full text search. Do you want to say something about it, Vlad? Because you were, involved in the first full text implementation with Sphinx, right? In 1.5.
Not implementation, actually. It was a small patch for Sphinx to make native queries to the Firebird, to load data from Firebird. It was not integration, it was not something big. But besides then, the time flies.
Yes.
Sphinx is improved in some way, so I don't know state of this patch if it applicable still. And Sphinx itself is now in very different stage, but it's different story. So far, I have no plans or no knowledge who will offer real integration. We know there is full text UDRs in IB Surgeon. It's pretty good, but it's UDRs. It's not something that we may name native full text search. So this is how the things is now.
Yes, yes. You know, I would like to say that when we have released it with free full text search UDR, we were surprised by the low level of actual users. There are not so many people who, you know, implemented this UDR or even looked at this UDR. And it looks like this feature, full text search, is somehow not well understood by the developers, Firebird users. And I think that maybe we should go to the different way. Maybe we should announce like kind of crowdfunding for this feature in order to involve companies and people who really want full text search and really, you know, want to support with some money and also with some expertise, with some input, what they actually expect from full text search. Because majority, I think that vast majority of people, they just want to use like with, you know, wildcard in the beginning and wildcard in the end. This is what people want as a full text search, or think this is a full text search is. So maybe we should, you know, just gather the people who are ready to vote with, you know, some small money and implement it. If they want it,
Exactly.
we will get it, right?
Exactly. It was my my bigger problem was when I start to study Sphinx and way to integrate Firebird with Sphinx. I asked people how you see it, how it can be done, and nobody was able to give me any useful points, any useful hints. So it was just abandoned with the time.
Yes, yes. So I think we know what you know, these type of requests should be clarified with the you know, real money voting, let's say. So we can announce the feature and say, okay, guys, what do you want for this feature and how much do you want to pledge to support it as a sponsor or as a donor, whatever. It can be, you know, from $10, but it should be, you know, real involvement. When you pay for something, you will really think what you really need. Even if it's, you know, all free, nobody is, and there is no, you know, there is no clear understanding how it works. And just give us some full text search. Oh, you have some full text search with this UDR. Okay, if we want to go further, you know, we need to organize it probably in some other way. Okay, but this is, you know, for the future and more organizational. So let's not waste no time more. International Support Forum. Also, I think really good idea. I think, yeah, we need some improvements because currently we have the Firebird support, Google Groups. Not so many people, you know, like Google Groups. Maybe we need to go further and create something. So we are really thinking how to improve it. I think in the next few months there will be some announcements. Deterministic functions. So can you comment on it, Vlad?
We have some simplest form of deterministic functions. If I remember correctly, functions without arguments can be declared as deterministics. And of course, it will be considered in the next versions. I don't can promise it will be considered for the Firebird 6, but after Firebird 6, it definitely is one of the important tasks to do.
Okay. Okay. Optimizer improvements for left join? So it's a kind of funny question. So many people, use the left join as a way to force optimizer to use indices in some specific way, one after one, right?
Yes.
And in general, it is not so good idea. And in Firebird 5, there were good improvements about using the hash join for to optimization of inner joins. And I think the planet optimization for hash outer join should help in this case, right?
Of course.
But it's in general it is wrong. And also I want to announce that soon there will be the series of articles developed for the optimization of queries, starting from really beginnings, what is fetches, what is writes, to understand what is the plan of Firebird, how it works, and so on. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to Firebird Substack to receive all these notifications. But anyway, in version 6, it will be easier. At every version, optimizer becomes smarter and smarter. Okay, next one. Regular expressions. Well, it's also kind of claim, right? So what?
Looks like claim, yes.
I also don't like to regular expression much because every time you need to debug them. You need to do something like select all from RDB database where regular expression similar to condition.
I have the same experience.
Yes, so probably we need to think something about it. There are some ideas. Users should not write regular expressions because, regular expression is the special thing. Not many people actually understand. Personally, I always very slow to write any regular expression. But for example, my wife is really good in it. Usually, I ask her to to write a regular expression for me. It's the advantage of having, your spouse as a developer too. So UDRs and so on. No, but if you think that this is the bug, create issue on GitHub. It's actually universal advice, right?
Yes, of course. In this particular case, I think we need something to investigate, but in this phrase, it is impossible to work. No, maybe it's impossible. I don't know. It depends on how you work with it, what you do, what you get. So the problem must be explained and investigated, and only then we can do something with it. So please explain your problem, and we look what we can do.
Yes. Well, I understand, but in this presentation we go through mixed types of questions, some kind of marketing question, technical questions, and so on. But this is what actual users ask it and highlight it as a big problem, so which we want to improve. So we really need to. Actually, we are hearing and we are already doing something, as you saw. But let's go for the next. External Python procedures. I think it's really close to the previous question about the external engines and so on. I think it also, requires some discussion. And what do you think, Vlad, about?
Exactly, it requires some discussion. Yes.
And as far as I know, there are implementations of the external procedures, right? For Java, for .NET.
Yes.
So it's
formally we have framework for it. So it's the half of the job already done. So if somebody pretty sure he needs external Python procedures, he could start to implement this external Python engine, and we will help.
Yeah, or if he wants it faster, he can also become a sponsor of Firebird Foundation, and we can organize it in much faster way. Just important information, because I see that some companies they think that there is a really complex things to do something, to have something implemented in Firebird. Actually, it is not a complex at all. If it's a good idea and it's supported by the core developers, supported by the real users, it will be implemented. If it is not a good idea, but it is supported by many users, like we already saw examples with even in this presentation, it also probably will be supported, because our job also is to make life of users better and easier. But anyway, there is a process to discuss and approve. Sometimes this process does not, really smooth. It requires several rounds of, but it's all possible, especially for sponsors. Next question is table partitioning. Well, I think it is in pipeline, right?
Yes, in Firebird 6, we plan to implement table spaces, and table partitioning probably will be based on this feature. So table spaces first, and then we will consider what to do with table partitioning.
Okay, some good news. Parallel executions. This question also is related with some count and so on, some executions. Of the previous questions about the why some count and some functions are slow, and the idea of, oh, let's do it in parallel.
Well, we have some basic job done for parallel executions. We have some tasks that mostly benefits from parallel execution already done, such as backup, such as restore and index creation, so on. And I think in the next version we will consider to improve and enhance this feature, maybe in query execution also.
And what is interesting, it is already possible to create parallel processing of data, not with the single SQL, not in automatic way, but it is possible, right?
Yes, we have for parallel execution, we have created some framework, as I've already said, and we have ability to share the transaction state between different connections, and user can create own applications that could, for example, load data or read data in parallel. So it's partially it's possible even now.
Yeah, that's great, because I remember what you have wrote together with Denise,
Yes.
the article how to use, and even we have example applications how to do parallel execution, which it could be already use it ready as is for parallel, for example, export of data from some big table or query.
Yes, some task with massive load is already have some ways to be parallelized using the Firebird 5.
Yes, so there is big work is being done in this area, and already with some results. Well, kind of easy stuff. I think what my question is actually, does the user really want to have my table and my table without quotes to be distinct in source code of the queries and storage procedures? Probably like, C++ guy, C or even C guy. Because right? Because now it's possible, but it will be stored as a upper.
Yes. The problem from the ancient point of view is backward compatibility. We can store the object names as is, as user type it, in this camel case or Pascal case, but we have it will bring a lot of compatibility issues. So it's not as easy as it seems from the external of the engine.
I think we can only.
Its question exists for many years, and it have no solution. Not because we are lazy, but because it's really not easy to save compatibility and to not broke something.
Interesting. I never thought about it. So it works as it works. Maybe I'm not enough organized, Okay, good. But anyway, if there is a big discussion about it, so again, it should be done in some issues on GitHub where all core developers, can preview and ask with more details. So we're coming for several questions from one company about huge memory consumption. They have a database with 4,000 procedures and 1,000 tables, and each connection consumes 600 megabytes of memory. Vlad, can you explain a bit something behind why there is, memory consumption?
Well, I have few questions of this kind from the users, and some of them share with me its databases, and I can say that it have a lot of metadata. It have a lot of procedures. It have a lot of triggers, and all of them have a very tight relationships. So it could be that application runs some procedure and they have dependencies on hundreds of other objects. And engine should validate all these dependencies. It should load all these objects into the memory, and it's of course have some cost.
Yes.
Starting from Firebird 3, our super server have per connection metadata cache. It was necessary to not delay development of multi-threaded super server in Firebird 3. So we decided to not implement shared metadata cache in Firebird 3. And now this problem became big, and in Firebird 6 we actually implementing new metadata cache that will be shared between all the connections on super server. The work is currently under proceeding. Alex actively works on it, and it should be delivered with Firebird 6. So it will. I have a big hope that most of the questions about huge memory consumption with metadata cache should be fixed in Firebird 6.
Well, that's really good news. Really good news. Well, the next question is a bit different, like huge memory consumption in system cache and buffers. In system cache, I think that they mean that if we are looking at the Windows or in Linux and some advanced tools, we can see the memory consumption for the project, like private memory space, and also what is cached as a file, right?
Yes, I think it's a question about file system cache, not about Firebird memory consumption, but about memory that was used by operation system for caching for file data.
And for me, of course, there is an obvious answer, because the Firebird always had this option to disable file cache in Firebird 4 and Firebird 5 use file cache. And for Firebird 3 and 2.5, there is another, the equation between default DB cache pages and file system cache threshold. But I don't understand why they, want to disable cache. Because in almost all tests which we made, even with NVMe, the file cache improved the performance. And I think maybe there is some misconfiguration. What do you think?
Not really. It highly depends on what the database load is. For example, file system cache could improve writes because it have any lazy mode. But if database mostly reads and have a lot of transactions, file system cache could be not as fast as Firebird internal cache.
But it means
so. It's really highly depends on the load.
But it means that everything should be in the cache. To
file system cache have its own cost on synchronization. For example,
yes,
it have own cost in different system tasks. That is not can be predicted by the Firebird developer or Firebird server or Firebird user. So when Firebird have all the data in its own cache, it have no additional performance penalty to call operation system for every page.
Well, interesting. I think that we need to plan some tests to be Firebird 5 because last time it was Firebird 3.
Maybe sorry, I broke you.
No problem.
Every time I run TPCC on my own machine, I see that it runs 10-15% faster without file system cache.
But it's, it's TPCC. TPCC is really, really specific test.
It's specific, of course, but anyway, this is the live sample.
Yes. But I think what the good idea will be to do the test with Firebird 5, right? To see what changes, because Firebird 5, it is so fast. And sometimes it's unexpectedly fast. Thank you for this, Vlad. Another kind of political question, really good actually, but people who never heard about the Firebird, but what I can say, it's a real big task of Firebird Foundation, of new Firebird Foundation, to improve the marketing and improve the brand recognition. So I hope it will be, it will become better in several years. Supporting Linux distros, also kind of political question, because it is not easy to organize direct support in Linux distros, and there were some lack of renewals, lack of new versions updating for Linux, but we are going to improve it. And also, personally, I support the idea that the Firebird users should use more Linux, and I'm going to announce some kind of Go Linux campaign to explain the benefits of Linux and how to use Firebird in the good way on Linux, specifically on Linux, including, often things like permissions, what is the phantom file problems, how to set up, and so on. Something like this. Do you want to add something, Vlad?
No.
Okay, good. LibreOffice and Firebird, yes. So this is often, overlooked. Often, not so many people know that LibreOffice use Firebird as an engine, and this is good. We just need, to do something else about it, to deliver this information to every user of LibreOffice. Metabase driver, yes, this is a kind of particular request, but metabase driver right now is outdated and do not work well. Yes, it was overlooked, and we are working on the special program for drivers developer to create some incentives. So I think that in some time we will centralize all information about all drivers, where these drivers are, who is development, and offer some kind of a platform for users to offer to give feedback about drivers, and for driver developers and for potential driver developers to participate in the development of drivers. Because every time, when it's really needed to do something like it was with a DBC, where we have a really good new driver developer, it was necessary for them to implement parallel load for Firebird 3. And for this, they used the object-oriented API. And for this, they needed to update, actually to create a new version of Firebird DBC driver. And as a result, all community now have version 3 of a DBC driver, which is good, fast, and it is maintained. So I would like to implement this approach to all drivers for Firebird, including the metabase. Okay, let's go next. And we are actually have approached the end of part 1 of answers for 3 most challenges. It is already pretty long. So please stay tuned. Subscribe to channel, subscribe to Firebird Substack to receive all news. But now I would like to announce the exclusive Firebird Performance webinar. What does it mean, the exclusive? It means that November 26, we together with Vlad will present you some really good points, really useful points about the performance. And this webinar will be available only for the Firebird supporters. It means those who have the subscription to Firebird Foundation, associate or partner or sponsor. There are some members of Firebird Foundation Australia who have paid up memberships, and there are many of them who did not pay their membership. So we are, as a foundation, we are creating benefits for supporters, for members, for those who support Firebird development. And for you guys, for Firebird supporters, we will do a lot of things like performance webinars. Also will be the magazine. Also will be the special products. And of course, a lot of discounts from partners of Firebird Foundation. And last, but actually not least, and but the Firebird needs you. Firebird needs your donations to develop Firebird Core app and to make it the best, or maybe one of the best Firebird databases, open source databases in the world. So please become the Firebird supporter, and we will meet in the special event. Now I would like to say thank you. So if you have questions, please send it to me and we will discuss it with Vlad. So this is part 1, where will be, I think, the next week or something, will be part 2 published. And we will see. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for using Firebird.
Yes. Yes.